Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
We're going to start by talking about Taika Waititi. Why the heck is he not done? What is taking him so long? He seems to be that guy in the movie industry that's just going to whip out films. Like, boom, here's a movie. Boom, here's a movie. Look, boom, 2 movies. He's had 3 years with the Star Wars thing and he's not done.
If you can't get something done in like 3 years like that, you're just never going to do it, are you? It's like George R.R. Martin. Does anybody actually think Winds of Winter is ever coming?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Alright, so initially this project was announced on Star Wars Day in 2020.
Wow, so it really has been 3 years.
Really has been 3 years. But there's been very few updates. We really haven't heard much. We know he's been busy with other projects. I mean, since then he's done Love and Thunder, the series Reservation Dogs, the upcoming film Next Goal Wins, and then he's doing, I can't remember the name of it now, but remember we talked about it on the channel a few weeks ago that he's doing some other movie instead of Star Wars First now as well. He's adapting a book.
Hey, he can stay away from I'm fine with that, actually.
I know, because you are, and I agree.
Love and Thunder. That's all. Do I have to say anything else?
I know.
I don't need that in Star Wars or anything like it.
But I know that you are of the strong opinion that if you are hired to do Star Wars, if you're committed to do Star Wars, do Star Wars.
Well, yeah, Star Wars is supposed to be like an honor to do, right? It's supposed to be the big leagues. Like, you get hired to do a Star Wars movie, like, oh my goodness. Like,
yeah, you're in.
Yeah, you're in the, and it's not everybody's big leagues, but in the film world, I mean,
I think it is. It's just a big deal.
Yeah, it should be a very big deal.
Money-making, recognition-heavy title.
Yeah, and you get hired to do it, and 3 years later, you're like, yeah, I'll do it eventually.
Or,
like, then why are we waiting for him? Why does Star Wars wait for him?
Is it because he's afraid? Could it be fear? Because the ones
Fear
that Star Wars doesn't
to the dark
make
side.
are the ones that Star Wars breaks. Rian Johnson.
Well, we don't need to talk about his trilogy.
I'm just saying, maybe there's a little bit of fear there, because if you don't do something really well, and he just
then
came off of
the job,
and you just came off of Thor: Love and Thunder, which he has to know has extremely mixed reviews.
Then don't take the job. If you're hesitant, look at J.J. Abrams. I didn't know what to do with Luke Skywalker where he wouldn't overshadow the new characters. Well, then don't make the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, now look what we have with Luke.
Right, but let's get back to the topic here of Taika Waititi and why his script isn't done. He did an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, and in his own words, he explained why his script is taking so long. He said, "I've got a really good idea for it. It's just as with all films, it's the middle part. You're like, what's going to happen? And then you look at all of those films that are so great. You're like, well, I guess they can't meet some smuggler with an alien sidekick."
Because there isn't a billion other things you can do in Star Wars?
I don't know what's up with him. He really thinks he's funny, but he didn't remember that Natalie Portman was in Star Wars. So.
He didn't. He asked her, hey, you want to be in a Star Wars movie?
She's like, my character. Well, they double cast Andy Serkis, so why not?
That was a little different. One is a giant, wrinkly old alien.
Well, if she played like an alien in full prosthetics, and it would be acceptable, I suppose.
But the way she was asked and the way she tells the story, like, he didn't remember she's Queen Amidala / Padme.
Yeah, very important character.
Yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, you were that background scene in the cantina that one time. Yeah, I get it, that's right.
And I know she talked about recently that she's open to coming back to Star Wars, but I'm
what does that even mean?
Your character's dead, number one.
Flashbacks.
You're older than your character, and we all know Disney's not good at flashbacks.
Yeah,
and de-aging ain't so great.
Yeah, I mean, that's not generally a problem today, but it is a problem when Disney does it.
Literally, the only way I could see them bringing her back is if they decided to follow the story of Sabe, one of her handmaidens.
They have an actual actress for Sabe. She's not like, she doesn't have to be played by Net. It would be kind of weird. She's like playing her own body double.
Yeah, but it's the only way I could see them actually doing it, I guess.
They've been doing enough with her anyway in the comic books.
She's good.
Goodness gracious.
She's got a
Can
whole
we just drop
thing
that
going.
with her and Vader already? It's been like 20 issues.
Sorry.
It's not even that.
Not everybody knows, so I can fill them with whatever misinformation I want.
It's very hot and heavy. A lot of heavy breathing.
Sabe gets under the suit.
Oh, jeez.
He still wants to write his script. He's still committed to giving the franchise his best possible effort. But
did he give Marvel his best effort with Love and Thunder?
We don't talk about that. But it's starting to sound like that broken record, like we're getting out of Rian Johnson. I'm still doing it. Well, Taika Waititi's still been doing it for 3 years, and we haven't gotten anywhere.
Yeah. And he's choosing not to do it. I think the Rian Johnson situation is a little different.
If his stuff was actually going to happen, I don't see why they didn't announce it at Celebration with the other three.
Yeah.
The other three are years and years off. Why not announce this one?
I mean, maybe it's not his choosing. Maybe he's had a bit of a falling out with Lucasfilm and Disney after Love and Thunder.
It very well could be.
Maybe they just realized that he's just not the right fit for Star Wars.
I know Kathleen Kennedy said that at Star Wars Celebration that Taika Waititi's film is still going to happen. She just called him a little slow. Literally, she said he's a little slow, but he's working away. He's very busy.
Yeah, like 4 other films.
I don't know. There's not much I can say other than either put the gas pedal down and get serious on Star Wars, or just
drop him already.
Let this opportunity pass you by. Clearly, they're not waiting for you. Star Wars moved on. They're like, yeah, we got other stuff to do. We're busy.
If he was that eager to do Star Wars, he would have wrote the script and got this thing on the move. Clearly, he's not.
Yeah. Next story today, I found an interview with Diana Lee Inosanto. She is the one who played the magistrate in Mandalorian Season 2.
Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Where is he? Sorry.
That sounds like Batman.
She's like, I don't know.
Yeah, jeez.
Dave didn't tell me.
Yeah, nobody knows except for Dave.
You know what else Dave didn't tell her? Her character's name.
Really?
Yeah.
That's secretive.
She found out in the credits, in the episode, what her character's name was. They were just calling her the magistrate on set. It was probably someone in post who's like, well, we should put a credit to her character. And
she didn't have her name spoken in the...
No.
It's not like that was a huge deal.
They didn't tell her, though.
It's a little weird, yeah. It's Dave being Dave.
It was crazy. I mean, all we really know from the show is that her people were massacred during the Clone Wars like the Nightsisters were. She likes to wear red, the Nightsister shade of red. She has whitish hair like the Nightsisters do.
She's a Night Sister.
She's totally very nice.
She won't know it until she sees it in the credits.
Oh, and she got some sort of a fancy Beskar staff. She's got great fighting skills, but she didn't know her name. She said, everything was such a complete surprise. I didn't even know my name was Morgan Elsbeth until the night it aired. Seriously. I knew I was the magistrate, so I had to make up this complete backstory. The night it aired, I was just stunned. I'm like, I have a name?
You're not just the magistrate.
She says her little moniker there was overshadowed, of course, because, as she puts it, everyone was making a big deal about Grogu having a name, right? And I'm like, oh, I have a name, you know.
That's right, that's the name.
Grogu is named
the
in
episode,
that episode,
yeah.
But she was excited because she's like, I have a name as well.
And nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Everyone's like, no, man, Grogu got a name. She looks, so did I. I'm no longer just magistrate. I'm Morgan Elsbeth. I have a name.
Yeah, but Grogu.
Yeah.
Do you like the name Grogu?
It's grown on me at this point. It's
Grogu-ing on you? Yep.
But originally, when the first time I heard it, I think me and 95% of the audience were like, really?
Yeah, I was in
We all thought it
95%.
would start with a Y.
Well, yeah.
We know Yoda, we know Yaddle. I was like, oh, here's Yogu.
Yogo?
Yoguru.
Yoguru. I like it.
I mean,
Sounds a little like
they all
yogurt.
have Y names, and it's like, this guy's name is Grogu. But back to Morgan Elsbeth here. Inosanto said, when I found out they were going to expand her character, I was just over the moon about this. I couldn't believe how the planets and stars aligned, and to be able to work with such a magnificent cast, and to grow as an actress, and feel that energy, it's a dream come true. But she was really excited about, being asked to come into the season, because there was nothing
excited to be a part of Star Wars.
Imagine that.
Taika needs to catch that. Or no,
Just saying.
actually doesn't. It's fine.
There was nothing that... She didn't have to be in this show. We all just thought she was defeated and done. She gave up information, and now it's like, oh, no, she gets to keep going. We get to learn more.
Well, Ahsoka wouldn't kill her, right?
No, but you could have put her in New Republic prison.
For doing what?
Right alongside Gideon.
She broke no laws that we know of.
She was a war...
Yeah, put her with Gideon, because that went so
She wasn't
well.
exactly nice to the people on that planet. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to turn her over to the Rangers.
Fair enough.
Because they're in their little electro-prod cages. Come on. There's no proof. Look at these burns and those dead people.
They might have done it to themselves.
One thing she said about the upcoming series and her character within it, she says her character, she's quite the manipulator, and we all know she's cold-hearted. But this is a character that is truly dedicated and loyal to Grand Admiral Thrawn, and there's nothing getting in her way.
Except for not knowing her name.
So what I really love is that we're going to get her backstory. I'm just thrilled and excited, and I think fans are going to be quite fascinated and pretty happy about this.
I can't imagine what that backstory might look like.
It might include more names.
Might include some Nightsisters is what it's going to include.
Oh, I'm so excited because the Nightsisters were such a cool addition, I think, to Star Wars. To show a group that doesn't use the Force exactly the way Jedi do, doesn't use the Force the way Sith do. They have their own method entirely of how they communicate with the Force.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it still has to kind of follow the same rules, though.
It follows some of the same rules, but it's not the same because it's sorcery.
Yeah, the Force is the Force. It's not like because I decide to use it differently, it behaves differently for me.
Right, but the way they use it is still different than how others use it.
Yeah. I'm simply saying, like, if you say I'm not a Sith, but I use the dark side, but I'm not going to fall to it like the Sith do, like, that just doesn't...
Well, and it's weird because we don't exactly know, are their powers really dark side?
No, we don't really know too much about them in the new canon here.
It's really sticky, the whole thing.
Yeah, like I said, I have some minor issues with it. Because it does seem that they use the dark side, yet they don't seem to be kind of falling to it the same way a Sith does.
Well, it's weird because you say things like the dark side, and I understand. I feel like the dark side is when I use the Force for evil, or for personal gain, or for things that are bad.
Selfish, yeah.
So if I'm a Night Sister, and let's say I never really leave my planet, and I'm just around my people, and I'm like making fancy little fires, and I'm using their version of the Force powers, what they do with them generally. But if I'm not hurting anybody, am I really a dark side, or am I really using the Force in a bad way?
If you're not hurting, sure.
It's a really, like I said, it's an interesting scenario. The last thing that she talks about in the interview is how she felt it was such an honor to be asked to work in Star Wars, to have these creative minds, including John and Dave, working with her, that it was amazing. And then to do this beautiful combative dance with Rosario. I mean, that beautiful moment, and what a way to bond with her. Speaking through your swords. That's what they call it in the fancy world.
An honor to work on Star Wars. I like how we go kind of full circle in this video.
We move from Taika Waititi, who seems to be very disrespectful almost in a way to Star Wars.
I'm not going to take it that way. I don't think he's intentionally being disrespectful, but I just see it that way. Like, if you want to work on Star Wars, if you want to get called up to the big leagues...
Well, he's already in Marvel. Maybe he thinks he's already reached the big leagues.
Well, I mean, he could do his own. I have no ill will towards him if he doesn't want to do Star Wars. But if you're going to do it, I think you should do it. I think you need to treat it seriously because I mean, he's all worried about fans not liking it. Well, being all hesitant and, half into it, well, you're going to more than likely end up with a result that isn't enjoyed by the fans.
I think just like in all things, you learn from your mistakes and you trudge forward and you try new things.
Sure.
And maybe you get a nice wide audience group or screening, to bounce things off of. Maybe send a script over to Thor. He'll read it, bounce some ideas back to you.
Reject it, yeah.
Well, at least
I would be very harsh, I think, if I were to actually
if someone actually handed you a script and were like, "Can you read this and just look things over?"
I think people would dread handing me their scripts, like,
because you'd be like, "This breaks canon. This breaks canon. This breaks canon. This is just stupid. This breaks canon."
I'd be like, the skit. I'm just crumpling up paper. This is canon breaking, tearing out marker. You got a marker here. Like, no, this is all got to go.
I'd be the nice one going, "Well, this breaks canon, but if you write it this way."
And then they'd be like, "Well, what do we got left?" Well, we got a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and everything after that needs to be redone.
You have to come up with creative solutions. You can't just come up with problems. You have to help them fix the problem.
I would help them.
Okay.
By writing the script for them.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I'm sure I'd be a pleasant guy to work with on that front.
I think they would value your knowledge and input to your face and talk about you behind your back.
That'd be hated in the office. Yeah, everybody would talk about me behind my back.
You'd be like,
he's the reason movies never get made. I write the scripts.
I swear, I walked by the room he was in reading the script and he was cackling. He had his red pen out.
Hey, I want Star Wars to be good.
I know.
That's all I want.
I want more things like Mando Season 1, Mando Season 2, Andor. I like fun. I also like serious. I think that they can find a balance. They just have to keep working at it and try again.
Well, they shouldn't have to. That's not what Yoda said. Do or do not already. You've had your tries. You found out what doesn't work. Do it. As Palpatine would say. Yoda and Palpatine would get along really well, I think. Other than the whole fight thing.
The whole do or do not.
If they would have just...
There is no try is like the worst saying ever.
They actually have the same saying. Palpatine just says do it, and Yoda's like do or do not. Like, he's at least giving the option to don't do it, but if you're going to do it, do it.
See, but you have to try. Sometimes, that's why I hate that saying, because you're always like, oh, do or do not. There is no try. I'm like, I have to try.
It's not meant to
find out if I can do it.
It's not meant to be taken literally.
And
what he's saying, all Yoda is really saying with that is not like, oh, you don't do or do not. No, what he's saying is if you're going to do it, you put in your all. You give it everything you've got. You don't half-ass it.
Why couldn't he say it that way?
Because he would have said ass half it. You must, or you shouldn't. Just wouldn't have sounded the same.
I still want to know what horse kicked him in the head as he talks like that. We know what happens sometime after the High Republic because in the kids' show he talks normal.
But anyway, I think we're rambling.
Do you think?
Yeah.
We've been rambling for the last 10 minutes.
I think for the last however long this video is. Mm-hmm. That's going to be all we got for you this time. So now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news. And let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.